Hey, I'm here. It looks really dark. Oh, there we go. Cool. All righty. So I'm going to wait for some people to get in here. Let me go ahead and send some notifications to everyone that this thing is on. Kind of move my webcam up. I'm just letting everybody know in the Discord. Hey, Nick, how's it going? I am here. We're actually having a really good chat in the Discord server. And I figured we could just kind of carry it over to here. Hello, Water Block. How are you? I figured we could just kind of carry. Oh, my hair's all crazy, isn't it? Didn't realize it looked that wild. Whatever. I'm doing fine. I was supposed to have a really neat interview with a magazine a couple of hours ago, but it fell through. They never got back with me at the time we scheduled. So, oh yeah, thanks. I got this at the I got the VIP when they came through Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I've got the poster. Wait, see if I can get my finger. Wait, how do you do this? Wait, which way is it? There we go. It's right there. That poster is from the VIP. It has their autographs and stuff on it too. Really nice guys. They're really cool. That's where I actually got the. I got Ross and Einar both to agree to an interview. So they'll be interviewing on my channel hopefully soon. Their last show of their tour is today, and as soon as they get back overseas, they're gonna do an interview. Hey Leonardo, yeah, I did like Mark Holland. He is really talented, super good singer. He was really skilled. I was very impressed with what I heard. So we were having a discussion in the Discord server about we were talking about what was his name? The guy from Lost Horizon. Uh, uh, what is his name? What is his name? It is hold on, Daniel Hyman. Yeah, Daniel Hyman. That's his name. Yeah, and so um, he claims to be like an untrained singer. Hey, what's up, Draco? What's going on, man? Um, yeah, if you guys want to link to the Discord server, I'll post it right here in the chat. I'd love for you guys to join. Yeah, sure. I put links in a lot of my descriptions, but I'll just give you guys like a quick link to use right here. But yeah, please join. I mean, it's we have a really great community. Right. I mean, like the discussions we have in there are awesome. We've had so many good talks about a bunch of different subjects. I mean, it's really cool. So we were actually talking about him, and yeah, so here's the thing about him though. I hadn't heard him, and I just listened to some of it, and I'm not convinced that that stuff isn't like super heavily edited. And I watched a live video. Um, I watched a live video. It's really blurry. It was hard to see, but in the live video, I saw that he was pretty consistent, but I couldn't see much of what was going on with his face though. So it was hard for me to really tell exactly what he was doing. But then we were starting the discussion, and I asked maybe you guys have some insight into this. Um, you linked another one. Let's see. Hey Neon, what's up, man? Um, so here's a question. So apparently Daniel claims to have never had any kind of training in his singing, right? And so the uh, the question I have for all of you who like since I've been to college and I've studied this stuff academically, and I kind of always look at training as like a vital element of singing. To all of you, what does it mean? Like, what does it tell you when you listen to a singer that you like that's untrained? Like, what are the what? Why is the idea of being an untrained singer like? Why do you find that relevant, or why do you find that like a something that's impressive or good? Just give me some different perspectives on that because I would like to know. Hey, IMK, what's going on? Tony Martin. Tony Martin. Who is he? Let me look. Tony Martin. I feel like I should know who this guy is. The Black Sabbath guy. Okay, yeah. Okay. A lot of people that give it being 100% honest. I don't know. So okay, I get it. Yeah, so that's all true. And I mean, there obviously have been many, many, many great singers that have been untrained, but I'll tell you from my own personal experience that training doesn't always even amount to someone being a great singer. It really there's a certain this is probably like a really like cheesy way to say it, but there's almost like this it factor that a singer has to have, even if they're trained. And if they don't have that it factor, then they probably aren't going to be that, like the training might help them become a technically better singer. But while technique is a huge part of singing, um, being a communicator is equally important. Actually, hold on a minute. Let me pull my mic a little closer to me. I didn't realize it was here. There we go. The poster, this one, that one. That's Haken and Leprous. I was just explaining that a while ago. I saw them live a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, dude, ask questions like all you want. That's why I'm here. I am here for you to ask your questions. That's actually not a poster, it's a puzzle. My girlfriend and I did that puzzle, and it was really hard, and so we decided to put it up on the wall. It's like I don't remember how many pieces that puzzle was, but that thing was super hard. Um like the bottom part, like this stuff right here wasn't that bad, but like all this dark stuff, like this whole section of the thing was like, oh my gosh, it was so hard. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend probably would want to know that the stream started so you can come in. Who is best girl? uh in what context? My girlfriend is best girl. It's easier to tell when a singer has formal training. Yeah, that's probably true. Um, that's probably true. Best Danganronpa girl. Well, I've only played the first one. I only started on the second one. Uh, Kirigiri. If a talented singer could body swap with someone who had never tried to sing, could they still sing well? How much of the singing ability is only acquired through training the mechanism? Hmm. Well, okay, so that's a tough question because I think it's actually a little more nuanced than it first comes across because so much of singing is also ear training. Um, Ear training is such a massive part, like being able to hear inside your head and interpret that into singing. Like that's part of the battle too. Like, um, I've had, that's a really good question. Does the body swap include the brain as well, or does it literally just like someone's singing voice, like does it mean that just the singing voice moves over, or does the person's brain move over as well? Like, does their ear move as well? That's a tough question. If the mechanism is, that's a big part of your question. Assuming your ear was still fully trained, you still had a full theoretical understanding, would your ability be compromised from being in you? Well, so there are muscles that have to develop, and there is a coordination that has to be established that comes from muscle memory. So there probably would be a process of reevaluating, like redoing things. And if the singer's moving from one voice type to another, they may have to retrain. But I would guess, like, my guess would be that if you got the ear and you got the understanding and you know how to move your voice around, like how to create sounds in varying pitches, then you could probably readjust to it. I mean, that's a really tough question. One of the more interesting questions I've ever gotten on the subject. But I would say probably so. Okay, let's see. Um, let's see. I am a guitar player with a great ear for music, but I can't carry a tune to save my life. Is there any hope for me? Be very blunt and don't hold back the harsh truth if you have to. Okay, so it depends. I mean, that's a really varied question because the source of your problem could be lots of different things. It could be that you're not physically using your voice very well. It could mean that your ear isn't very well trained to correlate with your voice. It could be a lot of different things. Is there any hope for you? It depends on how bad the situation is. I know that tone deafness exists, but the like being medically tone deaf is very different from people who just say, "Oh, I can't sing, I'm tone deaf." Being medically tone deaf literally means that the brain can't make any distinguishing differences between pitches at all. Let's see. I hate to intervene, but I seriously have a bugging question about Mark Collin. There's nothing on him since Candlemass was small. Why would his voice deteriorate? Any possible theories? Well, has his voice deteriorated since the video that I made? I mean, I don't know. From what I heard, generally, I heard healthy stuff. Like Mark Collin actually stands out in my mind of the people that I've analyzed as being one of using more healthy technique in what he does than anybody that I'd analyzed, say for maybe some of the Jeff Tate, like early Jeff Tate stuff, and some of the Roy Khan. Uh, but I thought that his stuff was pretty healthy. Maybe some sort of like, habit outside of singing could have contributed to it. Maybe he let off his technique and just kind of decided he was gonna, do things differently. I don't know. But what I heard, um, you know, what I heard from him was impressive and it was very technically sound. So I don't know. Hey Carlos, what's going on? Let's see. When you- oh, John. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of a background here. Neon is one of somebody who as a student at the studio that I work at, and John is one of my coworkers. He actually left a comment on my last video, and John loves my channel, but he's always want me to analyze like these like I don't know singers that I would never even think to analyze. So Billy Corgan, I guess, is his current shtick. In a way, I'm tone mute. I have to synchronization between my brain and my voice. Okay, maybe they'll feel they're having a bad day. I guess you're referring to talking about the other singer switching body thing. Yeah, probably so. Speaking more calling the guy who followed him in Candlemass is Robert Lowe. I'm the best vocalist Candlemass ever had. Yeah, I have this general rule. If someone tells me I'm a great singer, I probably don't listen to them very much. Uh, to me, um, singing is a process, and you only are where you are. And I know that's kind of a weird way to say that, but um, if you are where you are, then that means that you're you're the best that you could be at that moment. So I don't really like comparing singers in terms of like who's better than another because everyone's just in a different place. I mean, anybody can with the willpower and the ability and the knowledge and the practice can get to where they want to be as a singer as long as they're doing it in a way that's sustainable. I mean, and you can even get to where you want to be in unhealthy ways, but if you're talking about it as a career, you know I kind of look at it like that. All right, let's see. Wow, this is so busy. There's so many people here. This is awesome. I'm trying to keep up. All right, let's see. What would I miss? I can tune a guitar by ear, so no, I'm most definitely not tone deaf. If you're not tone deaf, then what you probably are able to match pitch. That's the first thing you need to be able to do is make sure that you can consistently match pitch. If you play a tone that's somewhere in the middle of your speaking right around where your speaking voice is, you need to be able to match that pitch. That's step one and get yourself to where you can match the pitch and go from there. So if you need to like scoop or whatever to get to whatever note you're trying to hit, like or whatever you played, scoop to it and make sure your ear like verifies, okay, I'm on the right note. That's the first step. Classical singer ego. I guess you're talking about Robert Lowe. Yeah, I mean classic singer ego. Yeah, yeah. I'm not into that. I don't really get that attitude. I will never be that way to people, and I hope that people, I hope that my students don't end up like that. Yeah, I'm really getting to singing lately. Having two cats and allergy makes it very hard. Sometimes I can pull off things really good, but for the most part, my allergy kicks my throat early. Okay, so there's a few things. Yeah, if you have allergy problems, you're probably going to have a hard time singing. However, if you take things like Claritin or Zyrtec, I think it is, stuff like that. What I've come to find is that it dries me out a lot, and other people have kind of argued the same thing as well. Anytime you have like major allergy issues, it's going to be hard to sing. So I would try to eliminate the allergens. When I was in college, I started having really bad sinus infections, and it turned out that I went to an allergist, and it turned out I was allergic to dust mites and birch pollen. And so what I started doing was I started using hypoallergenic pillows and bed sheets and things like that, and that helped me a lot. Um, hey, Lucas, let's see. Have you met trained some people who seem to be natural? Absolutely natural. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the they're a natural singer. I think that if anyone that can match pitch and can follow a tune is a natural singer. I mean, I guess if the implication is someone who can just do technique well without a lot of coaching, sure. I mean, yeah, I've had a few students that are like that, and those are fun to work with because I can just kind of like get into the right difficult stuff right off the bat. Morrissey vocal analysis win, right? Okay. First thing that sucks is the fact that in those first 10 minutes, I really have a capability to pull off that song, but after my throat becomes unusable to the point I can't hit my natural mid range. So that probably means that you're pushing too hard. You're using your voice too aggressively in that short period of time. I would recommend like warming up first to some extent, just getting your voice well coordinated to some degree before you try to sing at all. Because if you get tired or burn out in 10 minutes, that's a sign that you're overusing it. Which famous singer flat out can't sing? Bob Dylan. That's an easy question. Let's see. It's like low hanging fruit though. Um, let's see. Yeah, throat muscles being overused. Yes, BT, that's correct. I would argue any professional vocalist who relies on autotune to stay on pitch can't sing. Yeah. Yep. Probably. Well, it's hard to tell these days because singing in a professional setting is in like modern recordings is just so it's so different from like the old way of looking at singing. Um, I didn't put it correctly. I get a messed up feeling with saliva, which gets on top of my throat, literally a cat fur irritating my throat. So you're getting a lot of mucus. If it's very thick mucus, what I would suggest you do is just drink way more water because the thickness of the mucus in your system is directly proportional to how hydrated you are. So drink a lot of water. Don't drink anything like alcohol because that's going to make it worse. Drink way more water than you typically would. Um, let's see. Don't feel any pain or strain. Makes you to vacuum a lot, keep your cats out of a certain room. Yeah, I mean that can work too. Anything to keep yourself away from that allergen is probably going to help you. Now, I'm not an allergist. I'm not a doctor, so your mileage may vary. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. See, because Mark Collin was against drugs and alcohol, maybe saying too much, like you said in college. I don't know. His voice, even for the Vision 88, sound different from the ones you saw. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at some more examples, but people didn't seem terribly interested in my Messiah Mark Collin video, which is interesting because I felt like it was one of the best examples I could give. Maybe I'll revisit him one day and people will, see who he is. I do think that his singing is worth like pointing out because of how technically sound and solid it was. And he's an excellent example of he's an excellent example of how you can combine some of that like classical technique or that really good, healthy coordination into metal. And he did a great job of it. So let's see. Those pillows have kind of helped. Yeah, hypoallergenic pillows and bed sheets have gone a long way for me. I'm very good at matching pitch. I just suck at breathing and I cannot vibrate naturally. Okay, first things first. And I'm going to make a video about vibrato strictly pretty soon because vibrato is one of the most misunderstood things in singing. Don't worry about your vibrato. Don't worry about it. When everything's lined up the right way, the vibrato will happen on its own. You need to focus on the fundamentals, the breathing, healthy coordination, singing on the voice, not singing too far outside of your range, your natural range, that kind of thing. The basics. Don't even worry about vibrato. It doesn't matter. It will happen when it's ready. You can't force that. Otherwise, you're going to cause yourself problems. Let's see. Yeah, Bob Dylan does. Yeah, he's not a good singer. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That mucus is thick. Oh, Neon. Oh, he's so Neon is definitely a troll. He is like a living troll. Great kid though. He's definitely a troll. Um, Never thought of what. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, yeah. That's how I always learned it. If you got a lot of mucus, if it's like really stuffy, just drink a lot of water. It'll help, and it does. It helps loosen that stuff up. I feel like a dry out a lot. Opposite issue. More water. I mean, you can almost never have too much water because, and this is a whole different sort of subject. And again, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not an allergist. This is just all kind of what I've learned, on my own throughout the course of my studies. The body deprioritizes the throat when it comes to like vital places to have water. So if you're constantly dehydrated, your vital organs will have all the water and it will have all the water that your body has stored allocated to it. But stuff like the throat that aren't like survival required mechanism type things, like something you have to live, they're going to be at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to getting water. So it's good to make sure that you're getting more water than you normally would to make sure that your body can constantly hydrate everything, including your throat. You get breathy in your mixed voice and feel itching. Um, that could be a lot of things. I mean, that I'd have to hear it, that's tough. It just depends. Let's see. Axel Rose sounds like a sandblaster. It's great. Electric. Oh man. There's gotta be a meme somewhere. Like there's gotta be. Um Everyone knows Ken Tamplin's the greatest singer because if Ken can't do it now. Yep. Yep. I hit. I shouldn't even be in business. Let's see. Also, do you think that playing an instrument while singing hinders how well you sing? I actually addressed this a little bit in my Casey Crescenzo video. It depends on the instrument and it depends on your posture. Those are the two biggest things. Do you sing to yourself constantly or do you not sing to yourself out of habit of not wearing your voice out? That it's funny because the longer I've been teaching, the less I've been singing on my own because I do so much demonstrating that I just kind of get my singing fix throughout the day. And since I demonstrate a lot when I'm doing exercises, I mean, I kind of am constantly warmed up because I am always warming other people up and things like that. So, um, I also live in court. I live in a townhome, and like my neighbor's bedroom is right there on that wall. So if I do too much singing, like they'll hear it, especially since I have a massively huge voice. Um, I just I sing when I am in appropriate settings to sing, but I'm constantly doing vocalies and exercises and things just because of my job. Townhome in Kennesaw, huh? Interesting. I'm actually in Cartersville. You're from Atlanta, eh? That is pretty cool. I look Canadian. What does that even mean? Do I look like a lumberjack or something? I'm not Eastern European. I'm sure there are some though. I know that one of my voice students is from Greece. In your Mike Patton video, said carry stress and jaw contains some of the most. Yeah. So the thing that made carry stress in the jaw so difficult was that phrase, that one little middle section with that really atonal stuff. Lines like that are extremely hard. What classical pieces would you say the most difficult? It depends on the voice type. For baritone, absolutely. Uh, Credo in un Dio crudel by Verdi. Largo olfactotum. Um, let's see. The most difficult. I was actually talking about this in the Discord a little while ago. The most difficult piece, one of the most difficult pieces I've ever done, was Quia fecit mihi magna, which is Bach. It's a Latin piece from an oratorio called the Magnificat. There is an Ives piece called something Bridge of something. Let me see if I can look it up. Can't remember the name of it. What is the name of this piece? The something something at something, and it's about a bridge. The Housatonic. I think that's it. Let me see. Yeah, Housatonic at Stockbridge by Charles Ives. That piece is insane. Yeah, yeah, like the Housatonic at Stockbridge is one of the most difficult pieces I've ever heard. So I'll type that if you guys. I'll type some of these pieces if you guys want to see some of them. Thanks. My Italian is. I've worked a lot on it. I don't speak it, but I've definitely had to work on it quite a great deal. But I love singing in Italian. It's probably my favorite language. It just kind of rolls off the tongue, and the vowels are very comfortable and easy. So, like, if you want to check out some of these difficult pieces, Largo al factotum. There's Pedo in un Dio crudel. These are all baritone pieces, though. I'm not super familiar with literature from other voice types. Quia fecit mihi magna, and Housatonic at Stockbridge by Ives. All of those pieces are extremely difficult, like known as being some of the most difficult classical literature that a baritone could sing. Let's see. Devin Townsend or Michael Ockerfeldt? Ooh, we're doing. Ooh, man. Michael Ockerfeldt. It's close. It's close. And it's close. It's not even because of technique. I just generally, man, now that I think about it, that's tough. I think Michael Ockerfeldt edges him just that much. Because some of his songs that he's written have been some of my favorite of all time. And I mean, same thing for Devin, but when I think of like standouts, the standouts that Michael's written stick out to me a little bit more than Devin's. So just by a hair. Let's see. There's a famous music teacher there who teaches on campus expensive if you're not in class. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Do you utilize tongue twisters for vocal warm-ups? Yes. So a lot of my students hate me because I make them do the red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather warm-up. And you just do that on like a major scale, like red leather, yellow leather, 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 stuff like that. Yeah, they hate that. Tongue twisters are always like that's the thing that get people the most worked up. For kids, I do like a lot of like mommy made me mash my M&Ms type thing. But yeah, the red leather, yellow leather is an excellent tongue twister to do for singing. You just sing it on a major scale. Japan, huh? Awesome. That place is on my bucket list. I'm going to Japan one day. I love the idea of going to Japan, and pretty much most of the things that I enjoy in terms of entertainment are based out of Japan in some capacity. So I have to go to Japan one day. It is on my bucket list. Yeah, spelling things in other languages can be tough until you've learned the languages a bit. Let's see. Say Devin's my preferred musician, probably my favorite overall musician though. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like that's a tough question. Like when you talk about like Devin versus Michael, that's like splitting hairs. So I'm not saying that to take away from anything from Devin at all. I mean, that's not a fair question. Like, come on. Let's see. How did you manage that volume ascending control? I don't know. I guess I just
Are you talking when I did that exercise? I don't know. It's just habit, I suppose. The phrase started out lower and it ended up higher. And um, when pitches get higher, typically you tend to get a little bit louder. It's just a byproduct of coordination. Like, and that's the thing. Like when you get well coordinated when you're with your singing, you don't think about that kind of stuff anymore. It just sort of happens, and that's just how it is. Let's see. Have you ever heard of a singer? I've heard of John Arch. Wait, I did an analysis of John Arch actually. I did that a long time ago. Check out my videos. I did a John Arch video. It was like 3 months ago. I did actually Draco Dan was he was the one who recommended it. I can't remember the name of the song, but he was cool. Like he was different, had a very unique timbre. Check it out. Freddie Mercury. I did a video on Freddie Mercury, although it was not a vocal analysis video. It was kind of like, so it was kind of talking about it was more about, Giants Lore Heart of Winter. That was it. It was more about like the differences between like classical singing or opera singing and like musical theater singing. And so Freddie Mercury is considered like an opera singer, but he's not. He doesn't sing operatically at all. And anyway, his technique is not operatic. And so I kind of made the video to clear up that misconception. But I mean, Freddie Mercury is clearly one of the most talented, gifted, incredible performers in the past 50 years. I mean, there's no question about it. Let's see. Also, GG on watching SJ Reed. Oh, Reaction to Deadhead. Now I get nothing but those in my. Oh yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I I'm not here to start a YouTube war, but my goal was just hopefully my content will stand out on its own, and all those like automatic recommendations and things won't affect me too much. But I'm not in this to get the million subscribers like people like him are either. So let's see. When I see vocal range videos, I see people including whistle screams. Would you consider, I'll just say consider those as being part of someone's vocal range? Yes, depending on how frequently they use it. Like, if someone could just squeal up to a super high pitch every now and then, I don't consider that part of the vocal range. And also when you talk about vocal range, you talk about like a bell curve. So like, how frequently do you use pitches? Where are you the most comfortable? So there's like the range or the Fach, and then there's the extension. So like, so I, for example, I'm a bass baritone with a low extension. So, which means that I could sing lower than the average bass baritone when I need to. But that's not the meat of my vocal Fach. My Fach is bass baritone. So I would say that if you're talking about like peaking out the range, if they can consistently sing in that range, I would consider whistle voice as part of it. But otherwise, no. What do I think about Ross Jennings? I actually have a ton of video of Ross Jennings from this concert that I just saw last week and 2 weeks ago. He's great. I consider him more of like a Steven Wilson type singer that, technically he's not amazing, but he's very good at what he does. He's actually going to do an interview on this channel in probably in the next few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks. So look out for that. It just depends on when they get back from their tour and when he's rested up and ready to do some interviews. So look out for that. Higher decibels equate to higher frequencies. Well, there you go. That's question answered. Have you heard about Fabio Leone? Okay, Fabio Leone has been incredibly requested, and I will definitely look at him soon. He just keeps slipping my mind for some reason. The Metal Hammer thing, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I've been waiting on the dude. He told me 3 p.m. I'm gonna check my messages right now. He told me 3 p.m. today, Eastern time, we were going to do the interview, and he hasn't shown up. So I've been waiting on him all day. I haven't done the interview yet. I got the opportunity to interview for Metal Hammer magazine next to Melissa Cross. There's going to be an interview with me and then an interview with her. But the guy that's supposed to be doing the interview, he hasn't gotten back to me today. So I'm still waiting on that. If I could requested a full concert analysis of John Arch. Yeah. He's an interesting singer. I mean, he was definitely a unique analysis. It was cool. Nice. There's tons of songs you can sing along from Karaoke Box. I'm sure you will like it. Of course, you might like all the other entertainments. Yeah, one day I will go one day. Let's see. Hey, Mary Grace, what's up? So Mary Grace is one of my students. She's awesome. She is incredibly talented, and she's going to be a star one day. So, hey, Mary Grace, I'm glad you're here. She's one of my students actually at work, not private like online. She takes for me at the studio. Let's see. Got a good community. Yeah, I do have a great community. Like I feel like I was thinking about this the other day. Like somehow my channel has like drawn in people that are just really like balanced and unbiased and like very intelligent. I feel like the community that my channel's built is really great. And the Discord server is a perfect example of that. Like it's like everyone in there is just like harmonious with one another. Everyone gets along and they have all sorts of really great discussions. And now every time I come back and I look and see like I wake up and a big, like huge discussions happen on the Discord. I never have to worry about people flaming each other for their opinions. Everyone's just really friendly and it's great. Like, how did this happen? I don't know. You guys are awesome. It's really cool. Favorite Opeth tunes. Woo. Let's see. Favorite Opeth tunes. Man, that is eesh. Oh man. Where do you start? I mean, like there's so many. I don't even like what era. Give me an era, and I'll tell. I mean, I don't. I mean, give me an era. There's too much. I can't just pick. If I had to pick, gosh, I mean, that's the thing. Like even just thinking about a couple, I just think of more on that same album that I can't leave out, sort of thing. Ghost of Perdition. I mean, yeah, of course, Ghost of Perdition. Like that song's amazing. You know, how do you like, but there's so much on that album that's amazing. Like I've covered Hours of Wealth. I love that song. Hours of Wealth is one of my favorite Opeth songs. Let's see. Well, I'm missing. I need to catch back up on comments, but yeah, give me an era of Opeth and I'll give you some better commentary. Let's see. Yeah, Metal Hammer is coming. I've always known he's not an opera singer, but I've always known he modifies his vowels mostly because he's mimicking opera of his face. Yeah, I mean, Freddie Mercury's definitely not he has some degree of understanding of singing. I mean, for sure. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, so I'm not going to flame Melissa Cross. That's that's not what's going to happen. They're doing an interview with me, and they're going to make an article in the magazine in Metal Hammer about me, and then they're going to put Melissa Cross in another interview and article right next to it. So I think that they're just trying to compare and contrast the two different approaches. It came out of nowhere, and I mean, the interview was supposed to happen a few hours ago, but it hasn't. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? It might not even end up coming to fruition. But I'm still waiting on the guy to get back to me. So we'll see. We will see. You'll destroy Melissa Cross. Yeah, that's not my goal. I'm not trying to destroy people. That's not what I'm trying to do. Well, see, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Discord members, me included, disagree a lot. Yeah, you guys don't all agree on each other, but the conversation's always respectful, and it never turns to flaming or trolling. It's always respectful, and it's amazing. Zach versus Melissa Cross rap battle. Oh man, I'd come up with some hook about a rotunda. Oh man, that's sick. Favorite Caligula's Horse album. Oh no, that's a tough one too. Tide the Thief in the River's End, maybe, but I mean, Bloom is phenomenal, and so is In Contact. They're all amazing. So like those albums are just phenomenal. So I guess by a hair, Tide the Thief in the River's End, but not by much. I mean, I love them all. Best Opeth track is Epilogue. 1999 to 2008. Best songs. That doesn't narrow it down very much. I love Deliverance. I love Ghost of Perdition. I love The Great Conjuration. I love Harlequin Forest Reverie. I love Hours of Wealth. Basically all of that album, Ghost Reveries. I love Harvest. Burden is one of my all-time favorite Opeth songs. Gosh. All of Damnation, that whole album, Closure, Death Whispered a Lullaby. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, there's so much. I feel like I don't think Opeth has released a bad album. I mean, there's some that I prefer more than others, but I don't think that I don't think they've released a bad album. For a recorded output as prolific and consistent in quality as Opeth, it's hard to pinpoint a favorite song. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they when you have a band that's just that good for that long, it's hard to pick favorites. Um, gosh, there's so many comments. Ah, okay. All right. I got to catch up. I got to go faster. Do you think Melissa's a trained singer and takes advantage of it, or is she a quack and who thinks she knows what she's talking about? I do. Melissa Cross did have formal training. How she came to the conclusions that she is now, I don't know, but she does have formal training. I don't know. I think that anyone who charges $300 an hour for anything had better have, something like serious to back it up. To give you some perspective, the top opera coaches in Atlanta charge like 90 to $100 an hour. And they're like super high end, like, you could get study under them and become professional singers. So to charge 3 times that, I don't know. I don't know. I've seen Caligula's Horse support act for Opeth. Yeah, Caligula's Horse is one of my go-to bands. Like, I have to see them live one day. I just have to. I love them. I practice a song called La Vita Fugge from Vision Divine. Singer is Michel Lupi. I hope you do, or yeah, I just analysis of his singing one day. Okay, I will keep that in mind. What I've seen, she knows basics of exercise, but not so much the actual workings behind why she does things. Maybe I haven't really delved into her content in depth enough to know, um, how her exercises even work. Um, I'll see, all of these like CD, DVD recording thing. I've watched a lot of them, and a lot of them are the same. They assume that singers kind of all fit into a little box. So I typically just ignore that stuff for the most part. You might blow up when it happens. You'll suck because we won't talk anymore. No, no. See, that's not even like my community will always be my community, no matter how big I end up getting. I mean, like, and honestly, I don't even know how to handle all this stuff because it's all just come out of nowhere so fast. In the past 6 months, I would have never imagined that it'd be interviewed by Metal Hammer magazine. Like, no idea. So, um, but it's not going to be that I won't talk with people. Like, that's why I have the Discord server, because I want to be in touch with everybody who's a part of this. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here if you guys didn't watch my content. So I'm not gonna like blow off my like followers. Like, no way. I would never do. I'm too grateful and too appreciative of what all of you have done to put me where I'm at. Let's see. Necro Blasphemers are post Steven Wilson produced era. Oh, okay. It's a bit rough around the edges, but still, what is bid you farewell? You do analysis of Steve Perry. Steve Perry is someone that I have considered analyzing a couple of times, and I think that Steve Perry would be a nice gap closer between like the metal community that's so into what I do and then something that's more popular. So yeah, very possibly. I worry that Steve Perry is going to bring in a lot of people who just like bash me because of my views, which has happened a lot with like Dio and Bruce Dickinson. But yeah, I think Steve Perry would probably be a good analysis. Let's see. Morning Rise, a great production is a great. Yeah, that's true. Best rotunda use possible. All right, let's see. I like the rough production. Let's look at this. I cover a lot of ballad tracks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, their ballad songs are just great. They're just so fun to sing. They're just fun to sing. They feel good. There are some songs that just feel good to sing. And those Opeth ballads are all like that. I haven't listened to Winter Sun. I've heard of them, but I've never listened to them. Let's see. Tesseract had a mosh pit? That's hard to envision. I mean, I believe it, but man, that's hard to envision. Let's see. Yeah, okay, about Opeth, I personally think Steven Wilson to do mix on all albums. Yeah, I think that, well, Steven Wilson did mix several of their albums, but yeah, I love his production. I love his production. Like, I love Steven Wilson. Let's see. How would you rate Roy Khan? Compared to what? I mean, my analysis video has, I think I did a pretty in-depth analysis of him. Rate him in comparison to what? Let's see. Do I love classic prog rock? Yeah, of course. Name me some examples. Like, I mean, I can listen to some Gentle Giant any day of the week. I mean, King Crimson. I'm not a big Yes fan, though, actually. Not a huge fan of Yes. Frank Zappa, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah, I mean, I love all those guys. Pink Floyd, if you cut that, that's not prog, I guess. Kind of. I had a huge combo of people in Discord about the issue of metal vocalists writing outside their range. Yeah, I mean, that's very common too. When you're in studio, you can make anything work, but when it comes to doing a live setting, not so much. And sometimes that's a problem with the composers themselves. The people who write it aren't the singers, and they don't know how to write for that specific singer. Let's see. Can you do a vocal analysis on Geddy Lee? Possibly. I've thought about it. Geddy Lee is very he's kind of an outlier in his approach. I would say that his singing is definitely one that is I don't know. His technique is consistent and it's worked, but it's not within the lines of what people would typically consider like traditional singing technique. But I might do a video on him for sure. Let's see. Michael Bolton. I've had that request several times to analyze Michael Bolton, actually, and it's possible. Let's see, I have not heard the new Roy Khan material. I've seen it being posted in various places, but I've not heard it yet. Frank Zappa is extremely underrated. Hello, John. What's up, man? So if you have any questions about production or guitar, ask John Scherer, the guy who just came into chat. He's a coworker of mine. The dude is awesome, and he knows his stuff. Oh God, Roger Waters is actually another vocalist I can't stand. I honestly find the wall most listenable. I just see him as there. He's just kind of there. I don't see him as good or bad. Let's see. What do you think of all the new pop singers? It all sound the same in terms of production. Well, put them live. See how they sound live. That's what's the most important thing to me. See how they sound live. Hey, Dio fans are nice. I didn't bash you. Yes, you did not bash me. You did not bash me, Thor. You did not. But I've had just some really nasty feedback from a lot of Dio fans and Bruce Dickinson fans. So I might do some more analyses on them in the future, but for a while, I'm just going to chill on it. I always figured I listened to weird music compared to the people around me, but Gentle Giant's too much. Hey, now Gentle Giant, those guys are. You want to talk about a band that's underrated? Those guys were phenomenal musicians. Like the stuff they wrote was like genius. I mean, they were awesome. Let's see. I brought up most gent vocalists: Dan Compton's, Ash O'Hara, Chris Barretto, Spencer Sotelo. We're talking to okay. Let's see. Spencer Ware's value rest of season. RB1, high RB2, low RB1. Let's see. Primus. I have not listened to enough Primus to be able to do an analysis. I've listened to a little bit. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the subscription. Keep on watching. There's a lot of content. Let's see. Yes, I've listened to The Contortionist. Is that the same dude that does Last Chance to Reason? If it is, I think he also does Last Chance to Reason's music, and I prefer Last Chance to Reason over The Contortionist. I might be thinking about the wrong thing, but I think they're linked somehow. You guys probably know better than I do. The Dio analysis is fantastic. Well, thank you. It's nice to hear because I've deleted a lot of comments from that video because I've been told to kill myself like probably 10 times over the past like month because of that. So people are very defensive of Dio and Bruce Dickinson. I've learned that, and Jeff Tate to an extent, but not as much. Let's see. I saw your James Lee videos. I enjoyed the fact how respectful you were towards him compared to. Well, so that's because he's worthy of that respect. Like even if he's having struggles these days, doesn't mean that he doesn't have a prolific career. People don't look at things in the grand scheme. They just look at what's happening in the moment. And James LaBrie's been struggling live, relatively speaking, in the recent years compared to what he was. And he's still, the music that he sings is still extremely difficult. It's hard. So, I mean, he deserves the respect. Let's see. Danzig. I could potentially analyze some Danzig. I have to find a good video, but yeah, sure. Van der Graaf generator, I've listened to a little bit, not a ton, but I've listened to enough to know that they were incredibly talented too. Whitney Houston, why does she do jaw vibrato? My mom is a huge fan. I've seen her vibrate divinely without the jaw. It depends on the coordination. That is, so they call that gospel jaw. The term for that is gospel. It's a colloquial term, but it's gospel jaw. And it's a trained thing. It's something that you train yourself to do, and you don't need it. And sometimes, maybe some days she's got better vibrato. This is a speculative. I don't know for sure, but maybe some days she has better vibrato or better control than others, and she doesn't need to have that like gospel jaw thing going on to manufacture it. I don't know. That could be it. But typically when people can make the true vibrato without the jaw movement and then do it both, it's probably just they have it as like a backup. Let's see. People are arguing for defending Jeff Tate nowadays. Well, not really. It's most of the comments that I get are things like, well, you can't sing like Jeff Tate, so you can't analyze him. From that perspective, though, no men should ever teach women voice and no women should ever teach men voice, right? I can't sing like a woman, so does that mean that I can't teach women voice lessons? I don't know. It just does, that logic doesn't work. Let's see. Vocalist is Major Boy Loud. He sings very high. Love those. Okay, yeah, I don't know Greta Van Fleet. I'm not sure. Greta Van Fleet. Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think James LeBrie could benefit from transposing passages down an octave? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Some of their lines wouldn't do well down an octave, I don't think. That's my opinion, but I don't think that some of their stuff would sound as good down an octave. Maybe. Not sure. Been to a concert once, and the band that played before the main show was Rival Sons. Singers, don't know who they are. Well, yeah, Lisa. Yeah, it's okay. It's not, more than anything, I just don't want my comment section to divulge into like trolling and like anger. I don't care that they said that specifically. Like that doesn't bother me that they say it. It's just, more than anything, it's that I don't want that kind of vitriol. And if people are just going to derail what I'm saying by like, just discrediting everything that I'm saying about the ideas of vocal health and stuff, and they don't look at it from that angle, and all they want to do is just make hurtful, nasty remarks, I don't want them there. So let's see. Brian Johnson, that's been another big request. He's definitely technically a interesting case, to say the least. Hansi Korsch, I don't know who that is. Let's see. John, what's up, John? How do you teach placement, particularly fixing too much nasal resonance to children/beginners? So if it's really nasal, you get them to hold their nose, because if they're singing like this and they hold their nose, then all of a sudden it stops up and they can't make sound anymore, right? So if you get them to hold their nose, and then you say, okay, can you feel that buzzing, that vibrating in your nose? And they go, yeah. And so then you say, okay, well, that means that you're placing the resonance in your nose. And then ask the kid, do you speak out of your nose? And they're probably going to laugh. And you say, no, you don't speak out of your nose. You speak out of your mouth. So what I want you to do is I want you to deliberately make that sound and hold your nose, go, and get them to hold their nose and make them go, and say, okay, now I want you to move that sound around. And then you demonstrate. You say like, like that. And so they'll hear the difference in the sound. So when they do that and they replicate it to you, then they'll say, oh, I see what you mean. So then what you do is you get them to sing and hold their nose while they sing. So they kind of have that reminder when they feel that buzz that the sound is there. That's the best way that I've found to teach kids to pull resonance out of their noses. Miles Kennedy. I've gotten a lot of requests for Miles Kennedy too. I probably will analyze him at some point too. I have such a massive list at this point that it's like, I probably, since I can make comments now, I probably need to make a poll, like just put a poll up on my channel and see what people vote for, because I have so many requests. It's just like I have a massive list and I don't even know where to start. So maybe I should just make a poll. Let's see. Good. Any publicity is good. Yeah, I know. But I don't. I I know that any publicity is good publicity, but I don't necessarily want to draw that kind of attention to myself. I would rather just let things grow as they are and not do anything too off the wall, out of the ordinary. Like I'm not doing this for attention, I'm doing this to educate. So it doesn't. If my channel never gets more than 50,000 subscribers or whatever, I mean, that's if it never gets more than 5,000 subscribers, that's okay. As long as I know that my content is beneficial to people, that's all I care about. Would you say that throat singing is destructive to the voice? Define throat singing, because that could mean like 4 different things. Well, what kind of throat singing? Who cares about the trolls? Yeah, I know. I shouldn't be so sensitive to it, but I guess I don't know. It's I never really thought. It's actually, having this channel has given me some new perspective on people who are like public figures that constantly get berated by people. It bothers you, I mean, you can be like, I guess it comes from like me knowing my intentions in this, and my intentions are to be helpful and to teach and to help people learn and to benefit people. Like, seeing that someone's just like berating just to be angry and to be spiteful and vindictive and hurtful, it bothers you, I mean, it makes you think. Like, I think like, I wish this person could just take a minute and like talk to me, and like see that I'm not out to hurt anybody. And so, I delete this stuff partly because I just don't, it's hurtful, but not enough to like make me want to quit doing this. I just don't want to see it. So let's see. Yeah, poll. Yeah, maybe I should just start doing a poll. If you guys will, check the box that I put in the poll, like look for my posts, and if you see it, I'll do it. As a matter of fact, I'll make a poll this week, and you guys can like, let's decide right now, who all do you guys want me to put in the poll for this week? Let's figure it out. Now, if I may get the interview with Einar or Ross first, maybe I don't know for sure, but if not, I need an analysis. So who do you guys want me to put in the poll this week? Give me some names. Young music maker who just did a song that I do sing on, even though I don't see myself as a singer at all, because I see just how hard it is to maintain my voice because it was shot after a few. Well, you shouldn't be singing for a few hours anyway. You should only be singing for, an hour and a half at the most. Singing for that long is really bad for you. Okay. Kiski, Steve Perry, Kiski, Anselmo, Miles, Fabio Leone, Brian Johnson. Yeesh. Okay. I'll have a lot. So I'll put in Kiski, Michael Perry, Anselmo, Miles Kennedy, Brian Johnson, Fabio Leone. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make that poll right this second. Let's see. Make this post. Let's see what I got here. Put this in a separate screen. All right. Make post. And we're going to say poll time. All right, so let's go through this. We have Michael Kiske. We've got Steve Perry. We've got Phil Anselmo. Miles Kennedy. And Fabio Leone. Actually, now let me do this. Are there any female vocalists that you all want to see that I haven't that you would like for me to analyze? Give me some females. I've been wanting to do more women, and I haven't had a good opportunity. So let me put a woman on the list, at least one or two, and see if we can get some Anarchy. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to analyze Anarchy for a while too. So who do I take off in place? There's been a lot of requests for Kiske, so I'll leave him on. Fabio Leone. So I'll put Anarchy on here in place of Phil Anselmo. Yeah, Floor Jansen's been another really hotly requested as well. Pat Benatar would be possible. Let's see. I'm going to put in Pat Benatar or Floor Jansen. I actually here's what I had in mind for Floor Jansen. I hear like a lot of debates about Tarja and then Floor Jansen. So what I was thinking about doing is doing something similar to what I did with James Labrie, where I do a side by side and I compare Floor Jansen and Tarja side by side. So you guys can kind of see some of the differences between the two, because I know there's a big debate between which of the two is like the better singer. So maybe if I can put them side by side, you guys can see it. Ariana Grande. Maybe I should put that just for fun. So here's what I can only have 5 options. And I can only have 5 options. So right now I've got Michael Kiske, Steve Perry, Anneke van Giersbergen, Miles Kennedy, and Fabio Leone. That's the 5 that I have right now. Does that sound like a good poll? Yeah, I know they do, Water Blanca. I think that's why Tarja and Floor would be a great comparison. They make a video called "Voice Teacher Reacts to Disturbed Sound of Silence," and yeah, I think this poll is great. It's got some diverse backgrounds too, so I think this is going to be really interesting. All right, I posted the poll. Take your pick. It's up right now. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. And once the poll's done, I'll check the poll like tomorrow. I'm going to make the video on Tuesday, of course, but you guys can, like, once I determine who it's going to be, I'll make another post, and you guys maybe can link me some videos. Check my channel under community, or I guess it's community. Like you should see a poll come up in your news feed on YouTube. If you're subscribed and you see it should pop up. Since I can make posts, it should pop up on YouTube. And if not, just go to my channel. Yeah, this should be really interesting. I'll start doing this more frequently, giving polls. I'm gonna hang out about another 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna take off. I got a lot of stuff to do today. Yeah, Bjork would be a possibility as well. I think Bjork is probably going to merit her own thing entirely because she's very unique, and I probably will analyze her. I've been wanting to do more. I've been wanting to put more women on the channel for sure. I just, like I said, my list of singers is so big that I've just been going down the list, and it's hard to, every now and then I'll put in something of my own that I want to analyze. So, but I've got Anarchy on there for this time, and I'll make sure to add Bjork I'll start polling and add Bjork into the poll next time. Today at 7 p.m. No, thanks for coming by, SkyQuest. I really appreciate the support. I hope that my channel keeps delivering. Hey, Steven, what's up? So Steven Cox, guys, check out his YouTube channel. He is the man. He is one of the best bassists I know, if not the best bassist I know. He works with me as well, and he's awesome. Check out his channel, Steven Cox Bass. Click on it. Let's see. Singer who's going to challenge James Labrie. Who is that? Who's challenging James Labrie? What is this? I haven't heard of this. Let's see. Any DT song. I don't understand. Oh, see you later, Thor. Thanks for coming by, man. I know that you were your kid was asleep, but thanks for coming by anyway. Ozzy Osbourne's possible, sure. I mean, I'm willing to analyze anybody. Certain singers are going to be more, technical than others, but yeah, I'm definitely more than willing to analyze anybody you guys want. It's just a matter of like. So here's the thing: if my channel does get to the point where I'm making enough money to where I can like do this full time, then I'll be able to make videos a whole lot more frequently. But right now, my life is so crammed with work that I can't make more than one video a week, maybe two, like one long one short one, maybe. But if the channel grows enough, I will be able to do more videos and analyze more singers. So I do the most that I can given my circumstances. Who knows me as who are you? You call me Systolic. Who are you, Heinz Deppner? How do you know me? That's Systolic is like my screen name for everything online, like in forums and in games and stuff like that. Of course, Leonardo, man, I love being here, dude. This is if I could do this all day, all the time, I'd do it. I love this stuff. This is what I live for. Like teaching voice and talking about singing. I love it. Oh, what's up, Saber? How's it going? Good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping by. If to anyone going to sing Dream Theater songs, what advice would you give? Well, don't try to sound like James LaBrie. His timbre and the tonal quality is so distinctive and unique that trying to emulate that is going to be almost impossible. He is definitely that kind of timbre is not something that you can just create on your own. I would say don't emulate his sound. Pick something of his that's in your range, because a lot of that stuff has like really massive ranges of pitches, and I would not recommend you doing something that's up in the stratosphere if that's not where your voice would be comfortable. Those are the two biggest things I would recommend. Analyze your high school grindcore band singer. I'll do that. Send me a video. Let me check this poll. I haven't even, like you say, guys, people are dominating it already. Jeez. Man, Michael Kiskey's already, he's dominating the poll. Man, interesting stuff. I hope this poll gets a lot of votes. It's already got 13. I want to see like 1,000 votes. I want to see what everybody wants. I want to see what the overall view on who to analyze next. Who's Michael Kiskey anyway? Who's he sing for? Is it Halloween? Is he the singer for Halloween? Change of Seasons is extremely difficult. That Change of Seasons is hard. I would not recommend that as like an introductory cover for Dream Theater by any stretch. That's a long piece, very vocally demanding. If you go to community, go to my channel and go to community, it should be under there. There should be a poll under my comments. If you're subscribed, it should pop up in your recommended or your feed or whatever. Phil Collins. Well, so Phil Collins is, if I had to give an overall approach to singing, I would compare him to someone like Steven Wilson. Not super technically solid, but very good at creating the sound that he wants to create. Obviously, the purpose of his singing is not to be a super technically sound proficient singer. So I have to look at his singing from that idiom. He's clearly an immensely talented person and an immensely talented individual. So there's no question that he's, very good. It's just from a technical perspective, if I did like a full on analysis of it, I'd be nitpicking a lot of stuff, but I would closely correlate it to the Steven Wilson thing. So if he takes a similar approach to his singing. Billy Joel. Now I love me some Billy Joel. My mom listened to a lot of Billy Joel when I was growing up, so I grew up hearing Billy Joel. He's a great songwriter too. Peter Gabriel. I haven't listened to enough Peter Gabriel to really be able to have like a right off the top of my head opinion. I'll have to go back and listen more. I mean, the voice like rings in my head. Like I know what he sounds like, but I can't think of anything like immediately that's super prevalent. Poll results. Let's see. Uh-oh. Woo, man. Fabio Leone is making a comeback. Good grief. He came out of nowhere. Oh man, this is going to be awesome. I actually haven't listened to a lot of Sting either. That was like my mom wasn't a big Sting fan, so she didn't really let me hear much of him when I was growing up, and so I just didn't hear a lot of it. I don't want to make your current listing longer. I'm open to non-metal. Well, yeah, I definitely want to do non-metal singers. I mean, for sure. It's just like I said, my list of singers to analyze is just so freaking long at this point that I it's it's hard to just. There's just so much, and I'm trying to diversify things a little bit. Like Mike Patton isn't exactly metal. Casey Crescenzo isn't metal, but it's hard with the big list of stuff that I've got. So also, I'm going to probably make a video on vibrato at some point, but are there any videos you guys would like to see on specific technique singing subjects? Like anything that you feel like I need to clarify or, fix, clear up some confusion on? I'll probably make a poll about this at some point eventually as well. Any ideas, anything, any singing technique things you guys want to learn about or want me to analyze or teach about? If you can't think of anything right now, just leave me a comment somewhere or drop into the Discord. Please come to the Discord server, guys. What about video runs, melismatic phrases? Yeah, so unless I knew enough about singing dance versus let's see. So the big bombastic full sounding high notes comes from laryngeal tilt. Like, I mean, so for example, I'm going to demonstrate. Don't do this much, but if I do that, that's basically all laryngeal tilt. That's me raising my soft palate, lowering my larynx. If I could do that at a lower pitch, it's all about basically keeping the larynx low, the soft palate raised in the back, and you feel like you kind of feel the laryngeal tilt pull down, and you create the formant frequency that kind of carries over the top of it. That's what creates that big bombastic sound. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of training to do, but that's sort of the basis of all of it. Breath support's a huge part of it. Let's see. Sustain. So I don't know sustain. I'm not sure what that is referring to. I don't really use the term sustain when it comes to teaching voice very much. If you're talking about just being able to hold pitches out for long periods of time, it's all about making sure you have a low full expansion when you sing and you just don't use too much air all at the same time. Like it's more like if the air's coming out, it comes out like the size of like a straw amount of air, not like, not a huge amount. Messa di voce. Messa di voce isn't that like just the mixed voice? Let me check, because I've always heard of messa di voce as being just mixed voice, right? Oh. Yeah. So messa di voce is like, I didn't know I've done this exercise. I didn't know that's what that was called. So messa di voce is if I go like, let me do a different pitch. Like that. So you start out pretty like smaller, and then you get louder, and then you get smaller again. And that's all about breath control. It's actually probably sound better if I did it on a higher pitch. Like that. That's messa di voce. And so that's like starting what we call off the voice and moving on the voice and then coming back off the voice. So that's what messa di voce is. And all that is breath control. Like, so what you can do to work on that is, if you put your hand in front of your face, like I far enough to where, like, if you go you can kind of feel the air in a puff, but if you talk, you can't feel the air. That's like the right amount of space. And all you do is you get a good low breath, like you get diaphragmatic expansion underneath, and then you just hiss like a snake. You just go. And what you do is you try to keep that airflow, that stream of air, consistent all the way through. You don't want to feel the air on the hand at all, but you want to make sure you have a consistent, even flow of air. And that's how you can really work on the messa di voce. And if you can take that kind of airflow into your singing, then that'll help you a lot with that. But I mean, it's a more advanced technique. There's more to it than just that, but that's a good starting point. Soft palate pulling up technique, just yawn. If you yawn and you make sound when you yawn, then you raise your soft palate anyway. It does it on its own. You don't have to. There's no big secret to that. Just yawn. That's the feeling of raising your soft palate. Let's see. What about how much whistly screaming damages your voice in terms of regular screaming? All screaming damages your voice because the folds don't fully close. Anytime the folds try to vibrate and they don't fully close, it distributes the work unevenly across the folds. So since the folds are designed to kind of like distribute the amount of work all the way down, what happens is like if there's a separation, like if there's a disruption, then the parts of the folds that aren't fully closed take on extra strain and pressure. And so eventually those parts that get overworked will end up developing nodules, calluses, whatever you want to call it, like blisters, whatever the word is, polyps, to kind of compensate for the extra work that they do. And so when you scream, you're basically encouraging your voice to do that. So let's see. You must do a falsetto video at some point. Well, so the thing about head voice, the reason it's so misunderstood is that people that are trying to distinguish themselves as voice teachers and make a name for themselves keep calling it different things to try to make people think that it's something that it's not. Like they keep talking, oh, you got 18,000 passagios or whatever. Like it's just not true. And that all that extra information, all it does is serves to confuse people. And so the more that the unknowing public is confused, the more likely they are to go to someone who creates that confusion, right? Like, oh, well, I've never heard it put this way before. Maybe this is a perspective that everyone else doesn't know. But see, the way I look at it is like, let's keep this simple. And I'm just going to teach it the same way that I was taught it, the same way that the academic community teaches it, because there's no reason not to, right? I mean, all this information that I give is readily available in academic settings. I mean, you go to a library and you study vocal pedagogy in a book, all this stuff is there. You know, I'm not teaching anything that's you're reinventing the wheel or anything that's, unusual. This is just basic stuff. And it's people trying to market and brand themselves have confused it. Head voice and falsetto is an extremely simple concept. All it is the folds are fully closed in your chest voice, and then they slightly separate at the top end, which kind of creates an extra flow of air, and it allows you to sing higher pitches. And so the mixed voice is the process that happens from where the folds are closed and they start gradually opening. And so throughout the process of them opening, that's where the mixed voice is created. That's all that it is. Like, and so the sounds that are created when the folds are in those various states are what create the different, head voice, chest voice, whatever. So it's not that complicated. And people try so hard to like over explain things in a way. And it just ends up confusing people. And that's ultimately my goal with all this. It's just like, give something that's like simple and understandable to people. That's all I want to do. Like, I don't care about trying to, have 1 million subscribers or sell 1 million voice lessons or anything like that. Like, that's not my goal. So let's see, something about the thing with fully closed vocal cords. When I sing in the morning, I feel I need a lot of air to create sound. Suddenly it's very loud. So if you ever feel like if you ever feel like your voice isn't working very well, just do glissandos. Just stuff like that. Just slide your voice up and down. Let your voice coordinate and connect across the range. That'll help you a lot. Asked about singing on the breath. What about singing on the voice? You say the glottal attack is unhealthy. So, okay, so singing on the voice and using glottal attacks or onsets are two totally different things. You can sing on the voice and use glottal attacks, and you can sing off the voice and not use glottal attacks. You can use glottal attacks on the voice. You can not use glottal attacks on the voice. They're two kind of separate things. So on the voice basically just means that you are singing with the same type of phonatory function as when you speak. So if I sing a pitch like this, I'm singing on the voice. But if I sing a pitch like this, I'm singing off the voice. That's the only difference between the two. It's just like the amount of air. We call it breath to voice ratio. So when the breath is greater than the actual sound, like we have more breath pushed through than sound, that's a breath to voice ratio where you're singing off of the voice. If there's more voice than breath, that's singing on the voice with a higher voice to breath ratio. So let's see. The proper process of vocalizing is one that is the easiest for you to create without having to do something to manipulate the sounds that you create. So the glottal attack is when there's extraneous subglottal pressure. The glottis is down here around the folds. When there's extraneous air pressure underneath that pushes its way through and creates this like popping plosive motion. So there's a way to mitigate that, but it takes training, and if my students need that type of work, then I will help them with that. Man, I've gone way over when I expected to. So I'm actually going to take off because it's like an hour and 20 minutes in. I would love to keep chatting with you guys, but I got some other stuff I need to do too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was informative. Vote on the poll, tell your friends, join my Discord server. I'm going to post a link one more time so you guys can join in. Please join my Discord server. Let me see. Let me get an invite. You can talk to me all you want, and you'll have all sorts of insight on there from other people. And, we have great conversations. It's awesome. So let me generate a new link, copy. Here you go. Enjoy. Please come to the Discord. Thank you for stopping by, guys. I hope to hear from you all again soon. I will be making another video really soon. Vote in the poll, and it's going to be one of those 5 singers. And once it's all once the poll's done, I will ask you guys for a video to recommend to analyze as well. All right. Take care, everybody. See you later.